I, Ranjit Prakash, National Coordinator of ILO, Child Labour Platform Program, New Delhi, welcome you all on behalf of International Labour Organization ILO New Delhi office, and I special regards and welcome to the dignitaries on dais. As you may be aware, we are here today for a very important exercise. It's not just about giving lectures and listening to each other, but to understand each other requirements on elimination of child labor in the agriculture sector in Telangana. For me, this kind of program is very crucial. Unlike very usual and traditional workshops in lecture delivery mode, this is important because of the methodology which we have decided today to follow. This is important because the subject, of course, not a new subject, child labor elimination, but the strategy is quite innovative, new, and we are here to learn from each other in different set of exercise to address the vulnerability of child labor and their families, so that the Telangana state, led by the government of Telangana, can claim going forward that the state is child labor free or almost child labor free. And this declaration I want from you all, not just from the government or anyone, any particular stakeholder, but you all as collectives, as the main uh, agency or people who agree to work together to address the child labor problem. We have been working for decades to eliminate child labor. So I think many of you, or almost all of you, are fully aware about the legal provisions and the responsibilities of the officials and other stakeholders. And of course, we'll briefly highlight those, even for a repetitive sake, but we'll highlight those for sake of bringing some elements which require your kind attention. But what is important today and why are we here, in addition to all these facts, that the global environment is changing. Child labor is not an issue only for children or labor or a particular state or a particular geography, but it's globally connected. So the businesses, the global businesses which are working in your state, in Telangana, are also responsible for ensuring that in their supply chain there is no child labor or there is no risk of child labor. There is a difference. There is no child labor or there is no risk of child labor. And therefore it becomes more important for all of us, all of you from Telangana and ILO, to join the hands and address, find out the vulnerabilities and address those vulnerabilities so that the businesses also feel safe to work in your state, invest more in the state, which ultimately benefit the working class, the other section of the society of this state, and especially those vulnerable families who are at risk of sending their children to work. They also have better income from these businesses and they can claim that they do not send their children to work because of lack of sufficient income. As you all may appreciate, child labor is not merely an issue of labor. Also, it is not a problem of children alone. These two things I always repeat, that child labor is not the problem of labor alone is not a labor issue only. It is also not a problem of children only. You need to rethink how other players, how other stakeholders can bring quality contribution, because this is a problem at a larger level. There is a problem of the community, there is a problem of the society, and this is the problem to be addressed by many other departments like education, women and child, police, legal department, agriculture department, panchayati raj system, etc., and other stakeholders. Because as you all know, that child labor problem intersects with poverty, gender inequality, unsafe migration. Many migrants come to your state from different parts of the country, and they bring their children with them due to certain compulsions, and the lack of education, not only education, lack of quality education, access to quality education, especially migrant children, absence or inappropriate social protection measures, and finally, the justice system. So all these factors add to the labor issues, aggregating the problem, or when you are talking about collaborative action, all these indicators and issues need to be taken into account. And therefore, ending child labor requires more than legislation and enforcement action. We always gather and talk about the provisions of Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act, or some BNS provisions, or other acts and policies of the government. Yes, these are necessary elements, institutions, instruments, but we need to move forward. We need to think how to address the vulnerabilities. That is more important. The vulnerabilities cannot be addressed only through enforcement and legalities or legal provisions. And therefore, it demands credible evidence. And for example, in Telangana, we have, as ILO has undertaken a study on vulnerabilities issues in agriculture sector. And I'm happy to share with you that this study has been published by ILO a few months back. And if you like, later on I can share with you the link of that study. So the credible evidence, stronger institutions. I know, for example, Labor Department, Police Department in this state have joint initiatives, programs, as and when required, or at least twice and thrice in a year. But more convergence, then coordinated partnership. Partnership not just between the departments or the government, but partnership between key stakeholders, civil society organizations, research organizations, etc. Then gender responsive programming. You have to have, you can see that there are many women or girls, adolescents I will say, not women, adolescent girls working in agriculture sector. So all your strategy and programming has to be gender sensitive as well. And of course, I said that this is a unique program because I'll talk later when I have technical session, but just for information, there are 3 elements of child labor platform program. So I'm not going to discuss right now child labor platform, but what is the uniqueness of this program is that even though we are talking about elimination of child labor in agriculture sector, because evidence-wise this is the largest sector, or this is the sector which has the largest number of child labor globally. But apart from that, the uniqueness is that we are going to promote preventive approach, not limited to just identifying, withdrawing, and then rehabilitation. That is must. That has to happen as per the law. But preventive approach will be promoted. Then area-based approach. Area-based approach means when we are saying that agriculture sector and within agriculture sector certain commodities. So it doesn't mean that if we select a district, for example, Warangal. I'm just giving one example. If we select Warangal and we are working in 5 talukas of Warangal district in the name of these commodities, it does not stop us to take care of those children at risk which are in other commodities within the same geography. So we have to be very careful and mindful that we are going to take care of the entire geography which has been identified for pilot action of this program. Then, as I said, for the first time, the global businesses have joined the hands of the government. And you will be very proud to know that they have requested ILO to work in Telangana and Karnataka, 2 states at the moment. It's not new that businesses have come forward. They work through or with the help of civil society organizations. But for the first time, they have agreed and requested ILO because of the unique leadership of ILO being tripartite organization, being the only agency of United Nations which is into the lawmaking on the labor issue, labor matters. The only agency which has the capacity to bring the government, the trade union, and the employers organization. Businesses are part of the employers organization. So all these 3 together as our only agency in the world which has the mandate to bring these 3 players together on the same platform. And that is why the global businesses who have direct link in Telangana, who are sourcing from your state, who are requesting the local businesses of Telangana to provide the materials to them. I mean, they're part of the supply chain. They have come forward and requested ILO to work together to bring the stakeholders like you and develop a common strategy and way forward to address the child labor in agriculture sector in Telangana in a time-bound manner. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'll come back again.